Hi guys, I'm going to put together a card using this little stamp set. It is from Kindred Stamps and it's Tea Friends, and it's a take on Alice in Wonderland. That's one of my son's favorite Disney movies. He likes the Mad Hatter pretty well. The only thing I didn't like about this is on the hat, on that little tag there should be a 10/6. And they didn't put it on there. But it was an easy way to rectify it. Just take out a small fine line. I use a fine line Sharpie. And did the 10/6 myself. I'm going to put a little glossy accents on his eyes once I put it together. So I went ahead and stamped out these little guys. And colored them. There we go. Yeah, I stamped them out, colored them, and those are ready to go. And I don't know which one of these sentiments I'm going to stamp on there. I think may all your birthdays be happy ones, because the whole song is that you have one birthday, but you have 364 unbirthdays. So, in other words, have a happy every day, not just your birthday. So, let's see. I might also do this Stay Curious somewhere in there. We'll have to see. I might heat emboss that one in white. Alright, so we got all these guys done. And I'm going to do a spinner card. I decided that I'm still trying to use these long envelopes. And this one is bright green. But there's a tiny bit of green here, and it's also in this glitteriness that's on this paper. That is a cute little paper that I have there. Well, let me get the white one out of the way. See how it has a crown and then the roses, and then there's some green in it. That's, of my long envelopes, that's the one that would work the best. I was going to do like that teal blue, but it didn't work with my papers. So, there's that. Let me tell you what, I got this pad from, it's a 12 by 12 paper pad, and I got it from Tuesday Morning, probably 2 years ago, but I know they get stuff in over and over and over again. So keep your eyes open if you're interested in it. Let me grab it. It's by DCWV, and it's the Once Upon a Time stack. And I know that in Joann Fabric, I have seen some of these that's kind of this same vein, so keep your eyes open there too. I got this one, I think I paid I only paid $4.99 for it. Anyway, it's all fairy tale type stuff. Like this one says Princess down here and has the crown. But because I'm making this for my son, and this one has the castle and it says Once Upon a Time, it's just, this one is a takeoff of Little Mermaid. True Love's Kiss is this one. I don't have enough space to do all this. Yeah, and this one says Kiss a Frog on it. It's funny. Happily Ever After. That one just has little gold crowns, and it says, There Lived a Handsome Prince. And this one is Far, Far Away. Kind of reminds me of Shrek, but it also has that castle there. Anyway, I wanted to use my Alice in Wonderland stamps, and I thought this is the perfect paper pad for it. The one that I used on the front has the castle here. Where's the piece that I cut out in it? Oh, I think I put it somewhere else. I think so. Anyway, this is the castle, and then it has the rose. So I have 3 mats that are going to go on the front of this, but I cut this at 8 by 9 3/8, scored at 4. So in the inside, I have 2 mats. The first one is cut 3 3/4 by 9 1/8, and the second one is cut at 3 1/2 by 9. I'm filming this in the middle of the night. I really should not do that because I mess up more, but anyway, I'm going to try. Now I have the 3 for the outside. The first one's 3 3/4 by 9 1/4. The second one is 3 1/2 by 9 1/8. And then the last one is 3 1/4 by 8 7/8. And then I die cut this center with this size die cut. This is just a scallop, and then it has a stitched edge along the scallop. This piece came out of this one, and I needed a white one for the inside, but just putting it on this paper just didn't look right to me. So I got the red, and then I cut a white one that's smaller, same size as what I'm going to use on my spinner part. And these all go like this. Then I have these 2 that are going to go back to back and sandwich. I'm just using a thread, a white thread. But that's what's going to sandwich my thread to hang in the middle of this guy. So let's just get started, shall we? Sounds like a plan to me. And I'm mostly going to use my wet glue. I also got out this little charm. I don't know if I'm going to hang it off of the spinner part or not. It just says love. Anyway, I will have to use some sticky tape because it holds the thread better. And some people use fishing line because it's virtually invisible. I don't have any fishing line, and I'm not going to go buy some in the middle of the night, so I'm just using white thread. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Boy, I am really messing up here. Glue's going to dry before I get it stuck down anywhere. Yeah, I stuck that too high. I think it'll be okay though. Now go ahead and stick it down inside. Since I'm not doing any stamping on this one, I'm only doing it on the die cuts. There we go. And I did add foam squares to the backs of these. This little woman, I'm thinking I might put inside, maybe, because these foam squares are not real thick at all. I don't know though. She might go in the front down by this little castle. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 together, and then I need to sandwich my thread in between this white one and these. And the only reason I'm doing it that way is because this red one is just paper. It's not cardstock. So it needs some sturdiness added to it before gluing down any thread, in my opinion. I made my mom's Mother's Day card, and I made it a spinner. So I'm glad to already have it done. Uh-oh. Nope, come on. Cooperate. Shoot. Now, get my sticky tape. I had my desk kind of cleaned off last night. It's a disaster, and I don't know when I made such a mess. Because it was cleaned off last night. I couldn't sleep last night, so I was in here cleaning everything off my desk and then prepping this card. And today it was clean when I came in here. I'm the only one that's been at this desk, so it was me. I just don't know when I did all of it. That sounds silly. It had to have been today. But I didn't think I was making this big of a mess, is what I'm trying to get at. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and stick down the top. I think I need another couple of pieces of sticky tape, only the more narrow one. Since this is just a thin thread. User error. Come on. Alright, I think that got it, but let me go ahead and do it again. Just to be on the safe side. Alright. There. Flip it back over to the front. And I need to make this as tight as I can get it. Well. Dang. That won't work. I put it too high. No, I didn't. I lined it up. What is the deal? It looks crooked. Alright. I have a paper trimmer, so I'm going to fix it. Shave that off. I'm just going to cut all of the white away. Because I put this down real crooked. And that's not okay. My son wouldn't care, but in most of his mail, like his important stuff like bank statements and things like that, come here to my house instead of going to his apartment. So he's always talking about how the only mail he gets at his apartment is junk mail. So every so often I make him a card and send him a card. It makes him smile. And I like that it makes him smile. You know? Trying to straighten up this red too. I don't know what I did when I glued this together. Because this whole side does not look straight at all. That's because it's not. Good grief, ding dong. Alright. So then, now we just won't have the white one. Which I think will be alright. It looks okay without it. I liked the contrast that the white gave, but again, it was crooked, and that wouldn't have been okay. It would have driven me nuts. Someone that's special to you, you tend to be more picky, or at least I do. I get more picky when it comes to making things for my mom, my son, or my husband. Alright. Now, my thinking that's not going to hang right, and that's going to drive me nuts. Alright, so my thinking was, I'm going to have to glue it to this thing anyway. That I put that on there, pop this little feller in the middle, and then, well, yeah, I'll put her on the back side, and then I could put the queen down here at the bottom. I think I'm going to do that. So I need to take off this 9,000 backers, because I got carried away, as usual. Come on. So this is going to take me a minute. That's okay. He's worth it. Worth it, worth it. And he'll get a real kick out of this card. I talked to my mom earlier today, and my nephew's surgery went well. I don't know if I even told you guys about that. My brother called me one day last week, I believe it was, or week before, and my nephew was being rushed to the hospital, and they were going to do emergency surgery on him. He used to drink a lot of energy drinks, and apparently it gave him an irregular heartbeat. It raised his blood pressure, and my nephew's only 36, but it messed with his heart. So, I don't know, he was having some sort of symptoms, that like headaches and things like that. So he went to his doctor, and they did a CAT scan, and they suspected an aneurysm, but sent him to a specialist. The specialist did a CAT scan and an MRI, and it confirmed that yes, he had an aneurysm that was 6.6 millimeters, and it was on the back side of his brain. But because he was supposed to be taking this heart medication, and he hadn't been, and he was also supposed to be taking blood thinners, and hadn't been, then it wasn't safe for them to do the surgery. So, they told him, you have to take it for this amount of time, and then we'll do the surgery. Okay, fast forward, they've done the surgery. Everything so far is wonderful. Made it through surgery fine. So, thank you, Jesus. Because again, he's only 36. He has a teenage daughter, and then he has stepkids, and then he has a little boy that is, I think, 5. Yeah, I think he's 5. So, that was a huge scare, because that's too young. And, I've been telling my son, because my son has had high blood pressure issues in the past, and the doctors have said, you're going to have to calm down and, don't get yourself all worked up about things, and drink as little caffeine as possible until we kind of figure out what's going on here. Well, weight was also a part of the issue, because at the time my son was overweight. And he, worked out all the time when he was in high school. Hang on just a minute. Let me get this put together. Come on. Get over here. Oh, good grief. Hopefully that's high enough. So anyway, he worked out all the time when he was in high school and while he was in college, and then, once he was out of college and out of high school and got a full-time job, working around that and trying to do the things that you want to do, like, have a social life. I didn't get that perfectly lined up. Somehow that doesn't surprise me. It just hasn't been working out as much. See, when you open it, then it spins. So let me glue this little love down. But anyway, he periodically drinks coffee, and he also drinks those stinking energy drinks. And, I've told him, I said, you need to be careful, because those have been proven to cause serious health issues in young people. It's causing it in older people too, but I'm talking about issues that young people should not have at a young age. And of course, he's kind of hard-headed like his mama, and sometimes he just has to learn the hard way. And I told him, I said, look, you don't want to end up like your cousin. You kind of need to heed this warning. So I think it, kind of, slapped the reality in him, because he hasn't been drinking as much caffeine and energy drinks. There are people that drink coffee all day, every day. My goodness, I drink tea most days, and while that's not extremely caffeinated, it's still caffeine. I don't really drink coffee because it makes me sleepy. I know, I'm weird. But I don't drink those energy drinks because they have a tendency to cause, blood pressure to go up, heart to race, things like that. And I don't like that feeling, so I'm just not going to submit myself to that. At any rate, I'm hoping that he's heeding the warning that, these things are nothing to mess with. And the sad part is there's a lot of young people still drinking those things, predominantly just energy drinks. That's what my nephew was doing. He wasn't really drinking a whole lot of other things. It was mostly just those. I think I'm going to turn this guy a little bit. Put him kind of wonky. And then I'm going to flip it over and put her on the back side. Alright, so my lighting changed because my battery died, and since it was the middle of the night, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick these things down that I was already peeling the backs off of, and then I'm going to go lay down somewhere and try and sleep. I have horrible insomnia, So I went ahead and stuck down the little queen here. And the Mad Hatter, I stuck him kind of at an angle because it's different. And this was a stack of 4 little mugs, and I didn't want 4. I decided I only wanted 2, so I stuck those guys down. And then I stuck the Cheshire Cat up here at the top because I thought, you know, he sits up in the tree and stuff. You can see how far off I had that. It's going to be alright. I stuck her down at an opposite angle so that I could put the Drink Me bottle and the Eat Me little cakes. And I had forgotten to stamp out the little white rabbit. So I stamped him out earlier today and fussy cut him. I'm terrible at this. We've already discussed this. And I just used a silver gel pen and went around the face of the clock, and then I used this little Artsy, it's kind of like a Wink of Stella type pen, only it's made by Artsy and it's magenta colored, and I did that little heart, and then I just took a colored pencil from Prismacolor set. What color is this one? It is, what's this say? Turn it right side up and I could probably read it. Goldenrod is the color that I used because I looked, and then I went around in certain areas on the bunny itself and put a little bit of gray in there, like a real light gray, and then I used kind of a peach color for the cheeks and the ears just to give them a little bit of color. This little guy, my hair is everywhere. I think I'm going to pop him down here like he's kind of coming off the side. You know, because he pops out everywhere, it seems like, in that little movie. Everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. And if my glue doesn't give me issues today, it would be great. It was a little bit cooler in the house last night, and that's something that I've noticed is, well, first off, this glue they don't ship it if it reaches, I think, below 40 degrees between where it's shipping from and where it's going to, because it's temperature sensitive. But I've noticed with this glue that if it's cooler in my house, see, it's free flowing now. If it's cooler in my house, it's harder to get it out of the bottle. It's because my tip doesn't usually stop up because I usually keep the pin in it. But if it's cooler in the house, then I have more trouble with it. And when it's warmer, it comes out perfectly fine. Alright, pop my pen in. I mean, I could have turned the camera back on to stick all these little characters down today, but, I mean, you'd have just seen me peeling backs off of the 9,000 foam squares that I put on things because I get carried away. I do have out my, let's see, I need a jewel picker, my little silver hearts here. This thing is losing its stick or something, or maybe it's user error. Now that could very well be. How did I manage to stand that up on its edge? Flip over. Thank you. I want at least 3 of these. You know, that rule of thirds thing. And I don't know if I'll stick anything else on there or not. I do like using those little silver hearts, though, because they don't add a lot of weight. They're silver, so it's a little bit blingy. And this is going to my son, so, you know, I don't want to add a whole lot of frills to it. Let's do the May All Your Unbirthdays Be Happy ones. That one right there. Guess I should get a block. That might be helpful. And I probably should prime this by stamping it off on something else before I go needle lid. Probably should get the rest of the ink pad. I think this is going to stamp fine the first time, but it did. Photopolymer stamps. Alright. There's a glare. I need to get out some of those teeny tiny stamps that I have, because I typically place my... Did I just get ink on this? Oh good, I didn't. See, I have it right there. Usually I place my stamps further up on the block so that I have less risk of getting all of this mess. It still happens, but not as bad. But if I get one of my teeny tiny stamps and put it on this other end, then when I put it down, it would balance it so that it wouldn't tilt. There's these younger guys that are, well, some of them are from Florida, some of them are from Georgia, and they go scuba diving. They call it treasure hunting, which, you know, I think is cute. They're 20-somethings, but what got me started watching them is that they're not just scuba diving in places and only picking up, you know, like iPhones and things like that. They're also picking up whatever trash they can haul up out of the area that they're in, cans, bottles, etc., and taking it to its proper receptacle. And that just really gave me a lot of respect for those guys, because they don't have to do that. And it's awesome that they do it. They've found all kinds of guns and things like that they don't keep, that they turn over to the police. Again, mad respect for that, because there's a lot of people out in the world that would just keep them. You know, we're talking about guns that have been in the water so long that they're useless, but they've probably been used in a crime, and if there are serial numbers on there, which they found a few that have had serial numbers. They also found a military rifle, which is scary, but they turned it over to the police. I just have a great deal of respect for them for that. Being young people, it's, you know, we live in a different time, and there are a lot of people that would just keep those things, and maybe they're tied to a crime that a family could have some closure, you know. I don't know. I don't even know how I stumbled across them. It was one of those insomnia nights, and had watched all of my normal people. I don't know. They were on my home page for some reason. I'm going to put this one in this window. Need more glue than that. Anyway, been watching them, and I Oh, goodness sake. See, now I'm going to have a different one. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am, because it's got glue all over it. And I could wipe it off, but then it won't be as shiny, so. And when I got these, I think there was something like 500 or 1,000 of them, some ridiculous amount, for just a couple of dollars. I got them on eBay forever and a day ago. Got pull out another one. But they're perfect. They don't add weight. They do add a little bit of shine. And they're unexpected. Now, usually I put them in places where you really kind of have to be looking for it to find it. It's easy to see on this one, so there's no hiding anything. Oh, come on. There we go. Cute. I think my son's going to like his little card. He's a sweetheart. I sure am blessed. And I try not to take blessings for granted. This was another reason that I went ahead to use this green envelope. It goes with the Mad Hatter. But see, my choices were hot pink, bright yellow, teal blue, or this green. There's another color in there. What color is it? Bright orange. So the green goes better with it. Whoops, I got glue on that. There's my card for today. What do you guys think? You guys let me know what you think. Again, this is a stamp set from Kindred Stamps. It's called Tea Friends. But if you're into like Disney type stuff and also pop culture type stuff, she does a lot of stamp sets that are pop culture, but she does a lot of Disney inspired stuff, and she's pretty spot on with most of the things. You guys saw the one that was from the movie Up, and then recently I had another one. What was it? Let's see if I have that one close. I'll have to rewind him up. That's okay, because I have to write in it too, so. Oh, hopefully I do good with this and don't mess up. Let's do it down here at the bottom. Oh, no, I can't do that because, because it's not flat. So it's got to go all the way at the top. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day and a glorious tomorrow. Bye, guys.